Welcome, Casselberry. It is now time to have a casual conversation for the beneficial good of our community. The show you are about to listen to is called What's Up, Casselberry? And now it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you your hosts, Andy and Drew, along with producer Robin.
What's up, podcast listeners? It's Andy and Drew here with another exciting episode 109 of the What's Up, Casselberry podcast. That's right, listeners. You may be hearing not as good a quality today. That's okay. The quality of the content will be good, despite the fact that I am recording from my iPhone instead of my normal studio. Andy, how are you, my friend? Producer Robin, you're on the call as well. Y'all have a good week?
Well, we are. And both Robin and I have got great volume and sound because we are speaking from legitimate equipment because we are at our offices rather than in the parking lot of a golf course, which we know you are, Drew.
Peek behind the curtain, listener. I did do a working activity on the golf course today, but despite the fact that I'm sweating a little bit, I am here to provide great content for your ears. And Andy and Robin, you guys might have to carry the load. Speaking of carrying, though, a major...
Hang on, Drew, before you go too far, can I just put some air quotes around that word working at the golf course?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'd love to hear listener feedback. Listeners, if you've ever had a business type meeting at the golf course, then I want to hear about it. I want validation that in fact it was a work related meeting.
Yeah, Drew, I don't think you're going to get validation from an external source on this. I think this is between you and your conscience.
Probably so. Well, I got to tell you, the fact that I'm not with you guys in person or in my normal setup is a shame, but really am excited for this episode because we have an award-winning guest on this week's episode. That's right. We have the Teacher of the Year. Spoiler alert, our Teacher of the Year, Lauren Johnson from Casselberry Elementary, is going to be with us in just a few minutes and very much looking forward to that conversation. But as I open this podcast, as we open the podcast, Andy, Robin, I'm going to kick it to you. What's an award that you all have won in your life that you're proud of? Anything come to mind?
I think I've probably been awarded two things. The first was when I was 9 years old. I got the runners-up medal in the Rutherford Cup Elementary School Soccer Tournament, which was the highlight of my soccer career before it fizzled at age 9.5. But then, honestly, just very humbling. And I mean, don't like to talk about it. You know what a humble guy I am. But last year, I received the Citizen of the Year award from the Casselberry Police Department. And that was very humbling. And in fact, talking about that, next week, the police are doing their awards show again. And I'm very excited about who the next winner is going to be as well.
Can you win again?
I doubt it. I think I only won the first time because there was no other contestants. Oh. What about you, Drew? What did you win any awards on the golf course today?
Well, no, I've definitely not won a golf-related award ever. That's for sure. I was going to say, though, Andy, regarding Citizen of the Year, first off, yeah, super well-deserved. Second off, are you going to have to give your crown to the next Citizen of the Year? Is that part of your responsibility?
Yeah, I don't even get to wear the swimsuit again with a little sash that says...
No, I would say an award I'm proud of. I was the Chamber of Commerce Member of the Year one year. I volunteered a lot of time and effort and invested in our community and into Casselberry. So I guess that's an award I'm proud of. So there you go. There you have it. I'm also proud to be a father to my young son, as you are, Andy, proud to be a father to your kids. I think it's that time. What do you say? Is it time for Dad Joke of the Week?
Oh, I wondered where you were going with that. That was where you were going. I suppose it is.
All right, here we go. Producer Robin, this first Dad Joke is for you. What do you call monkeys who share an Amazon account?
Ooh, what do you call
Primates?
monkeys?
That's right.
Robin, good job. Good job, Robin. You broke Drew's jokes. That's awesome.
I'm that smart.
You nailed it. You are.
Where's my award?
That was, yeah, there you go.
That's a big one. That is a big one.
That's a 21st century joke. This joke is more from my childhood, and Robin, maybe your childhood. Why does Waldo wear a striped shirt?
Why?
Because he doesn't want to be spotted. You remember Where's Waldo?
Yeah.
Well, Robin, Drew, that's actually, I think, like from our parents' generation. I don't think Waldo's a recent thing. In England, we actually called it Where's Wally, not Waldo. But I mean, that's been around for a long time. So
Did it originate in England?
Probably all the good stuff originates in England.
Just like the artwork, I feel like was very Londonish, but maybe I should fact check this.
Just claim it. He's just going to claim it.
Just say
so there you go, England.
That's all right. Hey, you guys want some Doug jokes? You remember on the show last week, gave Doug a little bit of a shout out because he's been slow. Well, he made up for it today by sending me several Doug jokes. Do you guys want them?
Go ahead. Rattle them off, man. Absolutely.
All right. Did you know it takes guts to be an organ donor? Is your iPad making you fall asleep? Is it?
Yes. No, I don't know.
Good news, Robin, because there's a nap for that.
Nice.
Drew, you got a swimming pool in your yard. Is your pool safe for diving?
Safe for diving. I should do a PSA out there. Probably not. So I'll say no.
Okay. Well, because I heard it depends. All right.
There's also a diaper joke in there, but keep moving.
Yeah. Is a stolen Hershey bar considered hot chocolate? Is a nun who is in the heights of heaven called none of the above?
All right, one more.
Okay. I'll tell you a dad joke, okay? A dad joke on a dad joke. Did you know it's inappropriate to make a dad joke if you're not a dad?
Obviously.
It's actually a faux pas.
There's our dad joke segment. But transitioning now, it is time for Casselberry in the news. And this is exciting. I was really pleased to share this news story. So local Casselberry resident, Marlene Hyde, is the president of the Oviedo Winter Springs Kiwanis Club. And if you're unfamiliar with Kiwanis is an international service organization. I'm very familiar with it. My dad was a part of Kiwanis for many years, but Marlene lives in Casselberry and desired to have the local Kiwanis Club bless some students at Casselberry Elementary. And so Kiwanis, that is, has a bugs program that stands for Bringing Up Grades. And basically the idea is that they get the scores of 4th and 5th grade students from the first 9 weeks, the first quarter, and then encourage them, hey, if you bring your grades up by at least one letter, and even those that have A's, if you bring your number up high to a higher rate, you'll get a very special treat, a little party in your classroom. And just found out from Marlene that a total of 51 students earned that prestigious bug award in 4th and 5th grade at Casselberry Elementary. 51 students brought their grades up at least by one full letter. So congratulations. That's awesome.
That is fantastic. I want to take a test so I can bring my grades up and be part of that too.
I agree.
What were the food treats? Do you know?
I didn't get that information. I should have done some deeper research, maybe even been a food tester, prize tester, but I'm assuming it was pizza or something like that. Mallory Lambert, though, our principal at Casselberry Elementary, I saw there was a long email thread back and forth between she and Kiwanis president Marlene Hyde. And so, yeah, it was really a neat way to celebrate those 4th and 5th grade students. Quickly, I have a story regarding a 5th grade student at Casselberry Elementary. You guys mind if I input this in? So I am mentoring a 5th grader. This is a true story. I'm not going to reveal his name, but one of the 5th graders at Casselberry Elementary, I am mentoring once a week, and we typically spend time at one of the picnic tables. We kind of, talk about behavior a little bit, talk about his grades and things of that nature. Well, I was asking this young man, how is he doing making friends? He proceeded to tell me that his way of making friends is he goes home and he collects a bunch of snacks from his own personal home food pantry. Mm-hmm. He puts them in a large book that has Captain America apparently on the cover, but when you open the book, it's hollowed out inside, and that's where he sticks the snacks, is inside this hollowed out book. And then he proceeds to give one snack away to kids that he likes, but then charges $1 for snacks to other kids.
Wow, he's a hustler.
And,
that's entrepreneurial.
And so, yeah, he's exactly, Robin. I told him, I said, number one, that's quite the business endeavor. You have a mind for business. I'm glad that it's only snacks that you're selling, but he is a little entrepreneur. And that was a cute story. I did, full disclosure, listeners, I did tell his teachers, but I also told them, maybe make it a fun, like, don't immediately rat him out, like make it a fun kind of way to learn a lesson. But yeah, there you go. That was my mentoring experience this week at Casselberry Elementary School.
Love it. That's very cool.
Nothing else to add.
That kid is going somewhere, especially with you as a mentor. That's awesome.
He is. Well, hey, let's get to the meat of the show with our conversation with the Casselberry Elementary Teacher of the Year, Lauren Johnson. But before we do that, we want to have a little break to highlight some of the great podcast partners here on the What's Up Casselberry podcast.
What's up, Casselberry? This is Dr. Chloe Carmichael, spending a mental health moment with you. Today's mental health moment topic will be anxiety. A lot of people come to me saying, Dr. Chloe, how do I get rid of my anxiety? What I want them to know is that we actually don't really want to get rid of our anxiety. Believe it or not, anxiety does have a healthy function. That healthy function is actually to stimulate preparation behaviors. So if you're feeling anxious and then you try to tune it out or get anxious about it, the anxiety just snowballs. Instead, what you can do is ask yourself, what is the preparation behavior that this anxiety could be stimulating me to take? So for example, if you're feeling super anxious about a test that's coming up, maybe that's cueing you to say, start making some flashcards. On the other hand, if the test is over, but you're still feeling super anxious, that would be the time to maybe do some deep breathing and relaxation exercises. But we only want to turn to those types of exercises when we've already asked ourselves if there is some constructive preparation behavior that we might be better off taking instead of just taking a deep breath and relaxing. Thanks for spending this mental health moment with me, Dr. Chloe Carmichael. If you like what you heard and are curious for more, you can check out my website for my book, which is nervousenergybook.com. That's nervousenergybook.com. Have a great day, Casselberry.
I want to tell you about our friends at Full Circle Real Estate and Management. Lynn Brecken is a dear friend of Andy and I's, and Lynn has been involved in the Casselberry community for many years. Lynn serves on the board as the treasurer for the Chamber of Commerce here in Casselberry. And professionally, her and her team at Full Circle Real Estate and Management work with buyers, sellers, and investors. They offer a full range of management services. So if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or have them perhaps help you manage the sale or purchase of a home, please reach out to Lynn and her team. Their website is myfullcirclerealestate.com. You can email Lynn at lynne@myfullcirclerealestate.com or give them a call at 407-921-3763. Lynn is a great person and will work to do everything she can to help you. Check them out, Full Circle Real Estate and Management.
Welcome back, listeners. Today, we are very excited. We have a very prestigious lady with us today who probably has every right, as we were joking about beforehand, to have a big head right now, but her humility shines through as well. But we are honored to have Casselberry Elementary Teacher of the Year, Lauren Johnson, with us today. Welcome, Teacher of the Year. Can I call you Teacher of the Year, or do you prefer Lauren?
You can, either one. They always shorten it to toy. Too. You can be called Toy.
That's right, Lauren. I don't know if you knew, but I used to be on the toy committee for a number of years, several years back, and we would get these big binders that would say on them Toy Committee, and I would bring it home, and my kids were so excited. They thought it was like the Toys R Us catalog or something, but then it was just a bunch of resumes.
Choice.
That's right. Like toys, we get toys. No.
I would buy a bobblehead Lauren Johnson, Miss Johnson. Yeah, sure. Why not?
I actually have a Mrs. Johnson Lego that a student made for me.
Oh.
So literally I call it Little Miss Johnson, and she follows around the room. So
Nice. Is that a custom made thing?
It was. She handmade it. I've had it since 6 years now. She's going in. Yeah, I've had it for a long time. It's moved buildings with me too.
Nice. I think you may have just given me an idea for Drew's Christmas present.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, Lauren, I know you're not nervous, but we are. So let me just ask a couple of icebreaker questions.
Okay.
So you are a proud Casselberry panda. If you were to build a zoo, what would be the first 3 animals that you would put in that zoo?
Well, you gave me my first answer right there. My first
Good.
animal is a panda. A very cuddly, cute panda. If I could, a mom and her baby, because little baby pandas are the cutest, of course. My second animal would be a giraffe. My husband is exceedingly tall, is 6'8". So I've always called him the giraffe. He has been for many years. So giraffe, definitely. And then I think a koala bear. They're the Australian panda,
Yes.
in a close. Yes. So koala bears, that's always been one of my favorite animals.
If you mate the koala, the panda, is that like a koanda? Is that a new thing?
It could be. I'm thinking the color. Do we keep the black and white or do we add in some gray there?
Gray is distinguished, as Andy and I know all about.
That's funny.
Lauren, you were mentioning offline that one of your students gave you a cute little handmade gift. We love celebrating all our teachers, both the What's Up Casselberry team, as well as I know many parents and those in the community of Casselberry. If a student gave you a gift card for teacher, maybe being Teacher of the Year, maybe just Teacher Appreciation Week, where is your go-to spot? Where would you want to use that gift card at?
I think I will say I'm an avid Target shopper, but Hobby Lobby is definitely is up there for me. In my spare time, when I have it, I like to do crafting and that kind of stuff. So Target or Hobby Lobby, I think.
All right. Well, we hope all your students are listening and heard that.
Me too.
I picture Mr. Johnson in those, like the video of like the Target guys like hanging out tailgating in the parking lot. That's him while you're in Target.
Definitely.
That's funny. I think sometimes Target was made for teachers, right? And Hobby Lobby. That's great.
Oh, they have even Instagram with Target Teacher Instagram because everyone gets their things there. Yes.
Yeah, that's good. What's your favorite thing about Casselberry? The city, the school,
people.
however you want to.
Oh.
The people, there you go.
The people. This Casselberry Elementary has, and the city itself, but specifically the school just has the best atmosphere, the best personal community. People there are your family, truly. Oh, and it has been since I've been here. So it's awesome.
Perfect segue. So you have been at Casselberry for several years, right? You really started officially as a full-time teacher at Casselberry.
Yes.
Correct? Tell us about that journey.
This is year 7, but I did my junior achievement program that I did through UCF, and then I became an intern here, and then I got hired halfway through my senior internship, and then I've been here ever since. I started out in 4th grade, which I taught for several years, and now I've been in 3rd grade. This is my 2nd year, which I love both. It's really a toss-up. They're very similar. I've had a lot of good experiences, and then my internship was in 2nd grade and also 5th grade. So I've been around several grades.
Do you have a formative experience maybe from your childhood or a teacher that was really impactful? What motivated you to pursue being a teacher?
I'm that cliche that's always wanted to be a teacher. I always knew I'm an only child. So I spent a lot of my younger years, setting up my stuffed animals and playing teacher a lot. Through my church growing up, started working at their preschool that they had, went from being an assistant to being a full-time teacher there. So really my focus was on early childhood, and I wanted to be a preschool teacher. I decided to go for elementary education at UCF. And I had always kind of thought definitely younger grades, but the job opening for when I had graduated was 4th grade. And I said, well, you never know. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So the elementary is probably as old as I would go. but I am certified to 12th grade for reading education, but I don't know if I'll ever make it up that high.
That's awesome. That's been quite a journey. How do your students feel about being taught by a teacher of the year? In fact, let me ask the question this way. If we were to ask your students what makes you a great teacher, what would they say?
Well, I would hope that they would say I make learning as fun as possible. I really, really try my best to take anything that we do and turn it into a game or apply it to real life. Or since I teach reading, a lot of like acting out what we're reading. So I think that they would say I try and make it fun. I really form strong relationships with them. And I like to know them besides just being a student in my class as being, a whole person. So I would think that they would say I am caring and that I make my class as engaging as I can.
That is exactly the kind of teacher that I would like. So if I could go back to third grade, I would ask for you, Lauren. That's great. So as I mentioned earlier, I was a part of the Teacher of the Year selection committee for several years. And I got to say, it was a tough committee to be on because there were just some brilliant, creative, caring, engaging teachers all around the district and all around Casselberry Elementary as well. What would you say was the thing that kind of tipped the scales in your favor? And I know you're too humble to kind of brag, but what is it about you that kind of caught that spark that people saw that made you Teacher of the Year?
Well, first of all, I will say there's so many great teachers out there, and I truly feel like not enough of them get recognized for, the work that they put in. A lot of my application, because it's a very, rigorous application process, involved the classroom transformations that I do. So I usually take a story or something that we're working on, a skill in class, and kind of theme it as a way to get kids more engaged and more motivated. So I think that was a huge part of it. Like I said, the application process of all the things that you do and outside of just teaching were a big part of that application. Honestly, I truly just feel lucky to be picked there. There's so many, especially at Casselberry, there's so many amazing teachers here.
I love that answer. And you're so right. Part of me was selfishly hoping you were like, I just dominated them. And
that's right.
That's not you.
That's not my personality. I had been nominated before and everyone's like, oh, maybe you'll get it this year. I'm like, it's so, crazy, that feeling of there's just so many amazing teachers that everyone should get that recognition.
Yeah. Maybe a question then, just as you think about yourself and even what you've just learned over the course of your time in teaching is how do you feel like you've changed as a teacher? Maybe there's some new teachers listening. Teachers, I know Andy's daughter is going to be pursuing that as a career down the way. How do you feel like you have matured and grown as a teacher in your 7 years?
I think I have just learned how to sometimes take a step back and really see where I can meet the student where they are. Teaching is constantly changing. Textbooks change, standards change, the test that they are given has changed. But when you really kind of take a step back and look at what skills do I need to prepare this student to have? How can I meet them where they're at and then also push them to be the best that they can? I feel like I kind of used a more timid approach, I will say. I feel like when I first started teaching and now I want to know everything about my students. I want to know how I can help them, what I can do to, meet them with their interests, with what motivates them, what drives them. And I feel like on a more personal level, I feel like how I've changed from like beginning of teaching to now is I've learned to do a little bit more self-care. I feel like in recent years, especially realizing that I can only do so much. And sometimes I have to know when to like cut off. Okay, I've done all I can for today. So that's definitely something that I have tried and am still working on. That's what I would tell 18-year-old me was know when to cut off and to stop working because you don't have to always take it home with you. that's a piece of advice I have to tell myself all the time.
And I think Drew and I are telling ourselves that same thing as well. It's pivotal. Let me just ask about self-care if I can, Lauren. What does self-care look like for you outside of the classroom? And I ask because I think there's a lot of people, it seems today, who just go, and they have a hard time with self-care. I mean, my premise is if we don't care for ourselves and we don't kind of have anything in our fuel tank to care for others. So what are some of the things that you do to care for yourself?
I am that person that you're talking about that goes and then crashes. My husband can attest to that. But I really try to, when I can, not bring what I work at home. But I think just making that separation of like, this is my home. This is where I spend time with my family. This is where I spend time with my friends. That really, fills my bucket up. And getting outside, we live in a beautiful place, beautiful state. So I feel like getting outside, and much as I teach reading all day, reading is my self-care. I enjoy reading so much. I've always, as a child, just torn through chapter books, and I still do that to this day. I love reading. I'm a part of, several book clubs. I feel like that kind of just lets me kind of turn the teacher mode off and turn the whatever else is left, back on. So
I like that insight. Andy, you often say that a good leader is a constant reader and a good leader is a constant learner. And Lauren, it sounds like just organically kind of how you were created, you live out those things and make that very much an essential part of you. You've mentioned several times just the great Casselberry teachers. You've mentioned Principal Lambert, others in your crew that you would maybe call your tribe. Who are some of those people? How have they been a pivotal part of your success, and why is it so important to have people that are there to support you?
Oh my gosh, that's a huge, huge part of it. And I think that's what makes Casselberry such that true family-oriented school. I would not be where I am now without Kim Young being my internship teacher. I am very much like her as a teacher. I did our junior internship and I did my senior internship with her also. We've always had very, very strong and supportive leadership at our school. Principal Sharon Stanley hired me, and now Mallory is our principal, and both just truly always our care and our, thinking of you as a teacher, but also just as a person. And I feel like teachers at Casselberry take that into their classroom. They do the same thing with their students. Yes, you're here to learn, but I also want to care for you as, a human being. And I've just always been blessed with amazing teams. I've moved several teams, being fourth grade to third grade. And I have best friends at work, and they are my best friends at work, but they're also a lot of my best friends outside of work. And we make a point to spend time together then too. So I could not do it without them.
I love that. It really does take a village, and we need to be part of a tribe, and we need to lean into that tribe, especially in what's a very difficult profession, right? It's a profession that sometimes the kids get, sometimes they don't. There's lots of pressures from outside on teachers, and even pressures from parents as well. So a couple of questions around that. You will meet with a wide variety of parents. You will meet with good parents, like Drew, and then you'll have met with like parents like me too, who can be a little pushy and assertive and think their kids are, everything and more that, what have you. But what advice would you like to give generally to parents of kids about what it means to be a teacher? What would you say to parents? What would you like parents to know that they don't? I
think that a lot of them kind of only have like one side of whatever their student or whatever maybe their student's friend or their child's friends say. So I feel like a lot of times just communicating with us and teachers do really, they do a good job of communicating back with the parents. There's also, I have 40 students in my class. So it is sometimes a lot. So kind of giving us some grace sometimes to know that I want to communicate with all of you. We try to conference and keep up to date and, send pictures and things that when we can. So I feel like we try to communicate as much with them as, and I encourage parents all the time, reach out. I'm on your child's team. It's a triangle. Your child, they're grownups and they're teachers. We're on that team. We want to do whatever it takes to make your child as successful as they can. And so a lot of times I will invite kids into the conference with their parents. No, it's not just your parents and I talking, we're talking about your education too. So I think that, kind of having parents being understanding of that. And then it is always just helpful when students, read at home with their parent or have discussions with, their child. It can be as simple as, it doesn't need to be some sort of academic discussion. We talk about cause and effect in reading. Apply that to your own, a cause and effect at home, or when they're practicing their math facts, that kind of thing. You're in the car, do some flashcards with them. Just kind of whatever you can do to support your child, and knowing that at school we are also, doing the same thing.
I was just going to say that's really insightful. I love the image of the triangle because you picture like you and their guardians kind of working together, moving closer up the triangle, focusing on that third component of the triangle. Andy, did you want to follow up, or do you?
Yeah, no, I was going to just affirm the same thing. That's a very helpful image. I wish I'd had it 15 years ago. But I think you're exactly right, though. We have to work together, and a crucial part of working together is communication. I got some friends at middle school where, kids are obviously a little bit older, and, there can be different kinds of ill discipline and things like that. And I have a friend there who said, one of the ways that I can tell society has changed is that previously parents would come in and side with the teacher, but now they come in and side with the student without hearing from the teacher. And that's perhaps not the best way to parent. But I suspect that's just one of the ways that teaching is so hard and complex right now. There are lots of unique challenges in teaching. Final question, what do you wish our community knew about the challenges and joys of teaching that perhaps they don't at the moment?
I think that I would want them to know how hard teachers work. It is truly a job that the contract hours are when you are actually teaching, and anything outside those teaching hours are all things that you're doing, without getting paid, to be real. But I would want community members, parents, family members to know that despite any of that, we want what's best for your child. We want what's best for the community. Our community, especially in Casselberry, does such a great job of being supportive. We have an amazing PTSA. All of those people do make such an impact on us as teachers, and we are working so hard for them to make Casselberry, a better place. And you have both seen so many success stories of kids coming out of going to those Casselberry schools and coming out doing amazing things. So I think I just would want them to know how dedicated we are to being here and to working hard, just to kind of have that like two-way road, that mutual respect.
That's perfect. That triangle is pretty dynamic, and kids win when we build the triangle. That's great. Lauren, our conversation, as always happens when we have a good conversation, has gone too fast. When we have a bad conversation, it feels like it's gone on forever, but this one just feels like it's blinked. And that's because you've been a great guest. And again, not that Drew and I get to vote, but it's very easy for us to see why you've become Teacher of the Year. And so on behalf of us and our community, congratulations. And on behalf of us and our community, thank you so much for all that you do to make a difference in so many lives.
Wow, Lauren, we so appreciate your love, your passion, your ingenuity for helping mold young lives. Lauren Johnson, our Casselberry Elementary Teacher of the Year. That was a fantastic conversation, Andy. Andy, we wrap up another podcast episode. Just a ton of fun this week. I've really enjoyed our time together. Would you close us out with some words of inspiration?
You bet, Drew. And our inspirational quote this week comes from author, pastor, leader, entrepreneur, humanitarian Rick Warren, who said this: "You've heard that it's wise to learn from experience, but it's wiser to learn from the experience of others." Let me say that again. You've heard that it's wise to learn from experience, but it's wiser to learn from the experience of others. Two thoughts around this quote. Often the best way for us to learn is through painful experiences, right? As I look at my life and my leadership, that's where a lot of the deepest lessons I've learned have come from. But how much better would it be if we can avoid mistakes because we learn from others? first thought. Second thought, Drew, I was thinking about the young man that you are mentoring. You mentioned him at the top of the show, and we talked about what a smart kid he was with his entrepreneurial mind. He's also smart because he's choosing to spend time with you, not just because you're a nice guy, but because he's saying, I want to learn from someone who's been there, done that. And I'm reminded that wherever we are in life, we have a twofold responsibility to invest in others as a mentor and to ensure that we're sitting as a student, as a protege before someone who's gone before us. Why? Because as Rick Warren says, you've heard that it's wise to learn from experience, but it's even wiser to learn from the experience of others.
Fantastic, Andy. Thank you so much for your kind words and your encouragement. And thank you to Rick Warren as well. We wrap up another episode of the What's Up Casselberry podcast, and we hope that you've enjoyed today's episode. If you would, please give us a like, hit the subscribe button if you are listening via a podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, all with the name What's Up Casselberry. We'd love it if you'd share with a friend. Remember, this podcast has been produced by the amazing talent of producer Robin Koeppe. For more information, find us on those social media channels. And until we talk to you again, have a great week.